So, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Jonnychipz Weekly. My name is John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz, and it is Friday, the 10th of June, 2022. Usual format this week. Let's get on with it. This one's called Summit. So yes, hey everybody, hope you've had a fantastic week, whatever you've been up to this week. Another busy one. It just doesn't seem to get any less busy for me at the moment. But yeah, hope you've all had a great week and are gearing up for the weekend. It is Friday lunchtime here in the UK, but like I say, I hope wherever you are in the world, you're having a great time. You've got a lot of work that you can kind of keep yourselves busy with, and everything's going the way you want it. But anyhow, a usual format this week. We've got a lot of Azure Updates to get through this week. But before we do that, let's get on with some community call-outs. Okay, so first up, if you're not there, which I'm not there, unfortunately, I've been up to Scotland too many times this month already, and I couldn't get up there for another weekend. But the Scottish Summit kicks off today. I know they had some pre-day fun and activities yesterday, but if you are there, I hope you're having a fantastic time. It kicks off in 20 minutes. Well, this is 20 minutes from when I recorded it, which is now, 8 o'clock in the morning at the moment. So kicks off, it's kicked off, when you're watching this. So I hope you've had a fantastic time. Let us know what you're up to. Like I say, there's some fantastic speakers, fantastic event. It's been coming on strength to strength over the last couple of years now with the Scottish Summit, and, big shout out to all the organisers. If you're not there, then I'm sure this is a hybrid event from what I remember. Head on over to scottishsummit.com, get involved. They've got a mobile app. You can watch some of the sessions back on that. But equally, the socials are going to flood with activity, no doubt, over the next few days into the weekend with all the cool things that are going on up there. So, like I say, have a great time and good luck to all the speakers and enjoy. Looking forward to seeing some of the content myself. Next up, big shout out to Kevin Evans. Just forwarded this cheat sheet. So on Git. So really, if you're into or learning Git or really use Git on a, maybe not so frequent basis like myself, it's a great little cheat sheet to have to hand, kind of really just helping you with all the commands that you need to use for things like setting up a Git repo, when you start initiating a project and a directory, how you do pull requests, all of those kind of things. So really cool kind of little cheat sheet to have to hand. So if you want to copy that, head on over, follow the Kevin Evans. It's there on his Twitter feed. I've retweeted it. It is there for you to see. Quick shout out to Peter Rising and his Cloud Conversations podcast or YouTube podcast, whatever we call those, video casts, something like that. It's closing in on 500 subscribers, so go and give the guys and gals the support over at Cloud Conversations. It's youtube.com/Cloud Conversations. Go and give them a sub. Some fantastic chats from around the community with some great community folks. So go and give them a sub and show some support. So yeah, cheers for Peter for that. Next up, the Unhandled Exception podcast has got none other than Cliff Aegis. So Dan Clark runs the Unhandled Exception podcast. He's had Cliff on there fairly recently talking about .NET MAUI, IoT, and the cool handy, the bionic arm that Cliff has built. They really go into that and talk about that. So go and give that a little listen. Go and show some support to Dan for the podcast. And obviously enjoy. Cliff is a fantastic person in our community and has got a lot to kind of, lot of knowledge in there to impart. So I'd suggest you go and have a little listen because he's a cool guy as well. So thanks for that, Dan. I will be having a listen. Big shout out again to the Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community podcast, episode number 21. There, Izzy and Holly have come back and they're speaking to Anne Michaels, who is the COO of Microsoft Austria. So that's going to be a cool one. The podcast is always a great podcast. It's a great format. They've been doing some fantastic things with this video cast over the last it's got to be a couple of years now. So head on over to YouTube. I don't know what the YouTube link is. I'm sure it's Head in the Cloud Hunter Community. If you just do a search or you give Izzy a follow there, Isadora Katanich, on Twitter, and go and check that out. So, yeah, looking forward to giving that one a watch. So thanks for that. Next up, a quick retweet from Azure Weekly, and a shout out to Azure Weekly. They're always kind of retweeting out some of the important news of Azure, hence the name. So this one kind of came out the back of build, and it kind of caught my eye in the sense that if you are building out landing zones with your organization and you're looking to do something with either Azure Arc or Kubernetes, there are now accelerators out. So there are landing zone accelerators that have been announced from Microsoft that kind of help you understand what components we should be putting into these landing zones, maybe how we should configure them, that kind of stuff. So there is a tech community blog article out around announcing landing zone accelerator for Azure Arc enabled Kubernetes. Go and give that a little look, see if that is something of importance to your organization. Next up, thanks to Michael for retweeting this out, but there's been a post pushed out by Ben Martin Bauer around business continuity and disaster recovery, so that BCDR for Azure Virtual Desktop. So it's a great read, really great sort of architectural diagrams to conceptually show what that infrastructure and what that topology and architecture might look like. If you are running AVD at the moment and you are looking at some business continuity on that configuration, then it's a great little article to go and have a read of and kind of get your head around what you might need to do in order to get something like that set up. So, like I say, big shout out to Michael. Go and follow Michael Roth on Twitter. You can find the article here if you just do a search for on Microsoft Docs, Azure Virtual Desktop Multi-Region BCDR. You'll find that article. So, yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, big shout out to Shannon. She was on the 425 Shows podcast, or I don't know that she was on there, but she's calling that out, so I'm calling her out for calling that out. With Sashi Nadezai. I'm not sure if that's a surname or if that's just a Twitter handle, but apologies if I pronounced it incorrectly. And Jeff Casimir, they're on to talk around how Avanade are using identity and governance to achieve a seamless experience for business-to-business collaboration. So there's a case study there. It's on YouTube, so head on over to the 45 Show YouTube channel and go and give that a listen. So that's bound to be of value to anybody that's looking to implement or understand a little bit more about identity and governance in those scenarios. So go and check that out, and thanks for tweeting that out, Shannon. Yes, next up, I spotted this the other day. Joe Carlisle, We Do Azure on Twitter, is looking to put a limited series on podcasts together around Azure projects or Azure builds. So he's looking for guests, looking for collaborators. So if you've got an interesting concept or you've done something interesting as a project recently, reach out to Joe. I'm sure he'd be interested to speak to you. And like I say, he looks like he's looking to put a bit of a podcast together to kind of help others understand what goes into these kind of end-to-end projects and solutions. So thanks, Joe. Reach out to him if you're interested. Next up, another shout out for Dwayne and the Azure Back to School. Call for speakers is open for another week. So the schedule of the Azure Back to School will be released in July, so next month, and it's going to be starting in September. So head on over to the website. If I click on that, it'll take us over to azurebacktoSchool.github.io. And there's the call for speakers. Go and submit something if you are interested. Thanks, Dwayne. And another call for speakers. So the South Coast Summit on the 14th and 15th of October is looking for speakers. So again, if you are interested in speaking at that event, head on over to M365 Summit on Twitter. Find the Sessionize page and go and get your talk submitted, because I'm sure they would love to hear from you. Next up, yes, my good friend Dean Ellaby has released another Udemy course. So if you are interested in taking a look at that Udemy course, it's all around Windows Autopilot with Intune. So Dean is a great person in the community. He's highly knowledgeable chappy. So go and check that out if that is something of interest to you. Mastering Windows Autopilot on Udemy. Thanks, Dean. And another shout out to the Microsoft Cloud Security User Group there, approaching that magical 100 subscription mark on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to them, obviously it's a user group once a month. There's some great sessions all around cloud security. Go and check that out. Go and sub to their YouTube channel and show the support. So yeah, thanks for that, guys. Bruno retweeted this out the other day around cognitive services. So using voice in Azure Cognitive Services, a reactor session. Go and follow El Bruno on Twitter and go and give that a look. Reactor are putting out some fantastic sessions lately. Well, they've been doing it for a long time, but I've really started to get into the reactor sessions. There's lots of fantastic people giving talks on those sessions, and it's great to see that now we've started to open up a little bit more in terms of getting back face to face. There's a lot of in-person events going on now again, which is great to see. So thank you for tweeting that one out, Bruno. And finally today, it's June at the moment, but it's soon going to be July OT. So Jim Bennett is reminding us that we haven't got long. I mean, it's a little bit less than 25 days now, I think. It's only a few weeks away that we're hitting July. And look, July OT is basically a month of community and collaboration all around, would you believe, IoT. So it's a really exciting month. Some great content always gets put out around that time. So really looking forward to seeing what goes on. But yeah, thanks for reminding us, Jim. Looking forward to it. Okay, so let's head back on over. So there's our community call-outs for this week. I'm going to just jump on straight back over and talk a little bit about what's going on in the Welsh Azure user group updates. So yeah, no real updates as such, other than our next event is next Wednesday. That's the 15th of June. And we got two fantastic speakers again. Sagar Lad coming on to talk about near real-time analytics with Azure Synapse. And Arindam Mitra is coming on to talk about how do we get selective secrets with no access to a key vault using CI/CD and pipelines and things like that, and ADO. So really great sessions. Hope to see you there. Come and join us. Head on over to Welsh Azure on Twitter. Go and give the meetup event an RSVP. Get yourself registered for the event. It's a Teams event. It's a virtual event. So look, the more the merrier. So hope to see you there. And there's a quiz and there's some prizes. So what more do you want? If I just change that to the Welsh Azure user group at the top there. Yeah, like I say, there's if you've missed any of the Welsh Azure user group sessions, check out the playlist below. They're all there. We're coming up to the 2-year mark now. Got to speak to the guys in the team to work out what we're going to do to celebrate that 2-year milestone. It's been a great ride over the last 2 years with the user group. Things are dwindling down a little bit at the moment. I think, obviously there's lots more going on. So from a virtual perspective, I mean, let me know your thoughts and comments about that. Drop me some comments below. What do you think about virtual meetups at the moment? Are you still interested? Are you not interested? Are you all out for in-person events? Let me know, because that'll certainly help us work out the best thing to do with the user group moving forward. But there we go. Okie dokie. So without further ado, I think we'll jump straight on into Jonnychipz on the side. Lots been going on again. Let's just touch base on what I've been up to. Okay, so first up, thank you to Heiko for inviting me on to the show that he does with Marcus Hipp. Friday the 1st of July, 3 p.m. BST. I'm going to be on there, an Ask Me Anything session. To be honest, it's the first Ask Me Anything session that I've actually been on or actually ever done. So really looking forward to seeing what that is going to be like. If you don't know Heiko, go and follow him on Twitter. He's a great guy working at Script Runner at the minute, which is a great PowerShell automation tool that you can use. So go and check out Heiko and what he's up to in the community at the moment. So look forward to answering questions about cloud, community, PowerShell, automation, music. Heiko's a great guy in the community. You just got to go and check him out and give him some support as well. But yeah, really looking forward to that. Join us if you can on the 1st of July. Looking forward to it. Next up, yes, last week we had our episode number 3 of architecting a cloud native e-commerce solution that I do with Robbie and Swami on the YouTube channel. It's a great lot of fun, and I'm certainly learning a lot from the software development side of the fence, with how do we build these microservices and container-based solutions, and then learning about the options to deploy them then. Do we use local Docker desktop? Can we deploy them into Azure Container web apps containers, into Azure Container apps, or into maybe even a full-blown Kubernetes or an AKS? There's loads of different options, and the point of this stream is that we're kind of picking and choosing some of the options and talking and showing and trying to understand what might be better for what solution and kind of having that debate live on a stream. So if you can join us, our next one, I believe, is on the 17th of June. So next Friday at 5 p.m. BST. So come and join us. Come and say hello. We've got a Git repo, which I haven't got the link to at the minute, but it shows what we're going to be talking about, and it's what we have talked about in the other episodes. But yeah, it's really good fun. Looking forward to being on that one again next week. Also this week, I was on a Reactor session myself, unpacking the tech at the Reactor, all around Microsoft Build with Corey and Vivek. We were talking around some of the announcements that we saw at Build. So I had a good chance to really talk around the Azure Migrate Appliance GA announcements and what it means for the assessment and migration of web apps and databases. So, and I think Corey was talking around the announcements around Cosmos DB. It was a great session. So if you missed that, do go and check that out. It's on the meetup. But, I don't know where the YouTube is. I don't know if they've got a Reactor. They might have a Reactor YouTube channel. But go and check that out on Meetup. Go and search for the past events, and you can see the links there anyway. And finally, thank you so much to John Jarvis for being my guest last week on In Convo With. Great chat, always great chats. I'm, always hugely thankful to all the guests that appear on the show. But it is Friday. That means there is another episode coming out. So thank you for being my guest last week, John. Much appreciated. And if you've missed it, go and check it out below. But this week, tonight, we've got Adi Pollack. And yeah, it was a fantastic chat with Adi. So she works in data analytics and AI and that space where, using data lake storage to kind of, run machine learning algorithms and build those models up, to use that into AI solutions. There's some great links there. Go and check out all the links for Adi's channels and LakeFS in particular. And yeah, join us tonight. Like I say, always drop us some comments and, get involved in the chat tonight. 6:30, that'll be going out on the YouTube channel below. Hope to see you there. Okie dokie. So there we go. We have reached the point in the show where we are going to do some Azure news and updates. So let's get on with it. And there we go. How are you going? Right. Thanks for joining me. This is the Azure News and Updates. My voice is getting very croaky because I haven't got a drink by the side of me. But let's get on with it. We've got a lot of announcements to get through. So as usual, I'm not going to read through every single one verbatim, but we've probably got around 20 or so updates over the last week, which, is phenomenal and great all at the same time. It's just a lot going on. So let's just get through these. So first, GA announcement, updates for resource configuration changes. So resource configuration changes enables you to query across your subscriptions and tenant to discover changes with the resource graph. So you can really discover when any changes were made across your infrastructure, across your Azure subscriptions. So great for auditing and troubleshooting purposes. So go and give that a little look-see. There are some links there on the update site to the documentation just to kind of get you started on how you can start querying some of that. So go and give that a little look-see. Next up, public preview, Express through IPv6 support for global reach has been announced. GA, trusted launch support for virtual machines using ephemeral OS disks. So if you've not come across trusted launch, it's a seamless way to really improve that security posture of Gen 2 VMs. So it protects against advanced persistent attack techniques. It combines technologies that can be independently enabled using things like secure boot, virtualized version of the TPM, the VTPM trusted platform module. So the trusted launch support for VMs using ephemeral disks, and ephemeral disks are those disks that attach to the VMs when you first start them up, and they kind of, when you turn the VM off, they are trash. They're no longer. So it's available in all public Azure regions. So if you're interested, go and give that a little look. Next up, public preview. Azure NetApp Files data stores for Azure VM solution is now in public preview. As is a public preview announcement, 16 meg limit per document in API for MongoDB. We've got another public preview of Linux emulator with Azure Cosmos DB API for MongoDB, and another one around Cosmos DB serverless container storage limit increase to 1 terabyte. Microsoft Purview access policies for Azure SQL database is into public preview, and we've got some GA announcements for Azure SQL in general. We've got enable transparent cross-region failover as Azure SQL hyperscale databases using active geo-replication and auto failover groups. The Network Watcher packet capture support for virtual machine scale sets is in public preview now. And we've also got connection monitor support for virtual machine scale sets. So they've those VMSS have had a few public preview announcements this week. Generally available, so the Azure Monitor Agent is available across the latest Linux distributions. So if you do have some Linux, you can see there the latest distros being Ubuntu 2204, Rocky Linux, and Alma Linux. So the AMA is available to use on those distros. Public preview, this is about Azure Arc-enabled System Center Virtual Machine Manager. So let's have a look at this one. This looks quite interesting, actually. So if you are using VMM in your organization, so with customers increasing their investments across hybrid and edge environments, consistent management experiences are key requirements for IT admins. So System Center VMM is obviously part of the System Center suite of products, being used for many years to configure, manage, and transform traditional data centers. And Microsoft have now announced that they're making Azure Arc-enabled System Center VMM a new Azure Arc capabilities, and that's in public preview, so that's interesting. If you are interested in that cross-plane, that public cloud, private cloud monitoring and management solution using Azure Arc, and you use VMM, that's a cool thing to maybe look at getting configured in public preview. Another announcement, API management authorizations is in public preview. And we've got a GA announcement on API management, reusable policy fragments. Static Web Apps CLI is now available. So Static Web Apps, an open source application, version 1 release is now available. You can now deploy your apps from your local system to the Azure cloud without using CI/CD, and you can use a simple CLI command. So the Static Web Apps, the SWA CLI, now supports SWA init, SWA login, SWA deploy. Cool to see that's available. Okay, public preview, Microsoft Graph API integration with the Azure Event Grid. Mount Azure files and ephemeral storage in Azure Container Apps is in public preview. We've got more public preview, Linux portal editing for applications. Generally available. Azure Container App support for custom domains and TLS certificates. That's interesting to see. That's good to see that it's gone GA. So we can now apply our own custom domains and custom certs to those Azure Container Apps. Public preview, Azure load testing support for user-assigned managed identities. I said there was a lot of announcements this week. And we've got Azure load test support for customer managed keys, for specified JMeter properties. So let's have a look at that one. So with user properties, you can make your test configurable by keeping test settings outside of the JMeter test script. Use cases for the properties include using JMX test script in multiple deployment scenarios with different application endpoints. When your test script needs to accommodate multiple load patterns, such as doing those smoke tests, peak loads, or soak tests, and when you want to override default JMeter behavior by configuring JMeter settings, such as the results file format. Cool. More public preview, Azure load testing supports splitting input data across test engines. Okay. And generally available, the Azure SDK for Go. So it'll now allow developers to build applications that can perform management actions on Azure resources using the Resource Manager library and interacting with the Azure services like Identity Key Vault tables and service bus using their respective service libraries. Cool. Generally available. Azure Databricks available is in new regions now as well. And we've got another GA feature general availability and feature expansion of regional availability. This is on NetApp files. So to meet demanding requirements of enterprise mission critical workloads, new features are constantly added to Azure NetApp files, and previously released preview features are moved into GA. So there's a whole bunch of things there for Azure NetApp files moved into GA, which is good to see. And finally, public preview announcement that expanded feature regional availability for standard network features. Again, this is related to Azure NetApp files. There's standard network features, and they've added additional regions there, you can say, including UK South, if you are like me, based in the UK. So that's absolutely fantastic. So thank you, everybody, for joining me for the Azure news and updates this week. A big whistle-stop tour through the whole plethora of announcements this week, but thanks for sticking around. So there we have it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in this week. Been a lot of fun. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Do let us know what you think of this episode. Any announcements caught your eye this week? Anything I should be looking into a little bit more? But for now, thanks for watching. I've been Jonnychipz, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.